have a diagnosis
Yeah.
that you live with. What is it?
It's called Polycystic Kidney Disease, and it's something I was diagnosed with a few years ago. They say that it is hereditary. It's something that my dad dealt with, 5 of his siblings dealt with, his father dealt with. And it's interesting to be talking about faith and healing and all of these things while simultaneously feeling like you're not actively seeing it show up in your life. So,
How do you relate that to, what story in the Bible do you relate that to that gives you the faith to keep going?
for me, a lot of times I relate it to, and it's funny because on the panel I was talking about Hannah, and that's the only thing that's coming up right now. But I also just feel like there are scenarios where even with, I think it was Paul that had the thorn in his side, and he was like, well, remove this. Mm-hmm. God, like, I know that you can make it so that I don't have to deal with this issue. But God was saying, it's good, it's to buffet you, to keep you from thinking that you can do what you're doing without me. It is a reminder, a meeting point that I need God to continue on.
Absolutely.
So I think in the word it says, my grace is sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to remove it, but there is grace for you to do what you need to do with it going on at the same time. And I can definitely attest to that.
I love that. Now, as an influencer, though, do you think that do you look back at your life and say, like, definitely this is all a part of my journey, and this is what God is challenging me with to show up and actually pour out, even when you feel like I'm believing this for my audience, but then it's still not happening for me? Do you really believe like that's still a part of the journey?
I do. And I honestly feel like sometimes when we have things going on in our lives, the more of a crowd or a following that you amass means that there's a larger audience to see God get the glory out of the situation. I think about Jesus and how his ministry, they say that the more and more he would preach and teach, the more people would show up. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like when you have something that no one's ever seen it done before, when you raise somebody from the dead, you know what I mean? And you have a crowd of people, it has a different effect than when you do it in secret. And so I have to believe that whatever God is doing in my life, the fact that I have a following or an audience is just a larger group of people who can see the manifestation and the glory of God for themselves.